Hey guys, I'm Trevor Cicutti from SpineWise, and today I want to talk to you about 3 reasons why your adjustments may not hold. You see, I heard stories all over the place about practitioners and patients and things like this needing to repeat treatments over and over again. We hear the horror stories of people seeing practitioners over and over again for months and months and months to resolve problems. Sometimes their back pain, sometimes their health issues, so on and so forth. So what I want to talk to you about is I want to give you 3 reasons why your adjustments or why your corrections may not actually be holding and you may not be maintaining them, because it's something that we do discuss with patients over time, but sometimes when you've been out there and you've seen a lot of people, you may not have an understanding of all the complexities that go into actually trying to help somebody. Alright, so we're going to talk specifically about spinal segments today and about the vertebrae. So this is a vertebrae from behind, so 2 segments here. So we've got an upper and a lower segment. These are the discs that come in between, our nerves that come from outside as well. We have a series of muscles that run either side and ligaments that run down and hold this whole complex together. Alright, so the first reason I want to give you why you may not be holding your adjustments is a simple one, and that is a lifestyle problem. What do I mean by lifestyle problem? Well, what I mean is that postural muscles that are around the spine and designed to keep you upright and hold you in that position for long periods of time, these can fatigue over periods of time. And when they fatigue, you lose the support, and when you lose the support, we start falling apart. So a classic example of this, 2 quick ones, are those people who tend to extend when they lift. So they'll pick up, and as they pick up, they then lean backwards, carrying children, and then leaning back as they carry a child on the hip, working above head, these type of things. The problem with doing these type of things, that extension that occurs this way can irritate those back joints and keep cutting recurrent issues through those areas just through neurological reflex patterns. So the first thing is look for your patterns at home. Look for things that keep coming back, things that you do on a regular basis. These things will be habitual problems. They won't be things that you're doing here or there at the gym, most likely. The other one is mattresses that are too soft that you sink in. Even if you're sitting on a couch that's soft and leaning on the side all the time, these are things that can cause recurrency in these areas. By getting to them and understanding them really, really quickly, you can isolate them very quickly and stop that happening and save yourself a lot of heartache heading forward. Second one is looking at the stability structures around the spine itself. So we often talk about the vertebrae or bones being an inanimate object. They cannot move without either being pulled or pushed. They need something to move them. So if you find that vertebrae are going out of position, and that's not what happens, but we're going to exaggerate it. So if you're finding vertebrae go out of position like that on a regular basis and you're constantly needing to get them adjusted and moved back into position all the time, the problem with this basically can become simply because the support mechanisms around it, the muscles that pull and keep them even, aren't functioning correctly. That doesn't mean that they're weak and you need to go strengthen them. I'm talking about function. They're not activating the correct way, and this is often a neurological reflex problem. So what ends up happening is if we have a muscle that tends to pull more on this side and a muscle on this side that tends to pull less, we'll always have a tendency to rotate in that direction, and that can cause it to constantly be needing adjusting over and over and over again. And that can be identified quite easily by practitioners. It's really simple to do. The hard part from that then becomes asking the question, why is that dysfunction there? Because there's tons of different reasons they can exist like that. That can be a neurological pattern, that can be a memory problem, that can be a problem with structure elsewhere, such as your feet, can be a physiological problem, can also be a biochemical problem or a nutritional problem that can drive it as well. So there's a lot of different issues that can set that mechanism up, and even the way that muscles on the front and the back of your body interact can even set up imbalances in this regard. So that's the second one that we're looking at. The third one is distant structures causing problems in those areas. And this is one that I see really commonly missed. And that's simple. So for instance, if we take the upper part of your spine, let's say this is the upper part of your neck, then what we're actually looking at with this area is a lot of different structures that influence that. For instance, we know that when the jaw moves from side to side, the second vertebrae in your neck tends to rotate with it. In fact, even if the jaw unlevels this way, the second bone in the neck will tend to even laterally flex with it. So simple jaw issues can create upper cervical spine problems in people. Even if we look at the way that our feet are leveled, if you have one foot that's more flat or more pronated than the other foot, this will cause your pelvis to sink on one side, the shoulder to drop on one side, and your head to tilt on another side, and can create stress issues in specific areas in the spine itself, causing again recurrency. So rather than having them corrected all the time, doing exercise to try and stabilize them all the time, the simple solution is get your feet sorted out, get your feet fixed. And by doing that, you can straighten out the pelvis, straighten out the shoulders, straighten out the neck, take the stress of those segments within the spine itself, and stop the need for recurrent treatment. So whenever we see recurrency, whenever we see things coming back, the question needs to always be asked why. In our office, if we need to correct something more than twice, we always go looking for some other cause of it. And my team have become experts in doing this now because we do it so frequently. Whether it be physiological, nutritional, feet, or even something distant, even lifestyle patterning, these are the things that we need to address, and you really need someone to work through that with you to figure out where those problems are, because some of these can be quite well hidden, and sometimes you may not even be aware of a distant structure like a big toe that's creating your headache problems. Anyway guys, if you have any questions with any of that, you want any more information, or you want to post up your own story, just post them up down below. Always happy to help and always want to hear stories from you guys as well. If you have any questions at all, don't be afraid to slide me a message. Happy to work with you. My teams are always happy to help out. Otherwise, this has been Trevor Chakouti from SpineWise, and I'll catch you in the next vid. Bye for now.